Beneath the icy skies of the north, where the winds howled like wolves and the frozen earth was steeped in shadows, a prophecy lingered. It spoke of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, when the world would drown in chaos, fire, and death. The warriors of Asgard prepared for this day, but none bore its weight more than Thor, the god of thunder. Among the horrors foretold, one truth stood out. Thor was destined to face the mighty Jörmungandr, the world-serpent, in a battle that would end with both their deaths. The whispers of Ragnarok grew louder as the signs began to appear. The great wolf Fenrir had broken free of his chains, his roars shaking the earth. The skies darkened as the sun and moon were devoured by wolves, plunging the world into an endless, eerie twilight. Across the 9 realms, chaos reigned. Giants marched from Jotunheim, their footsteps cracking the frozen ground. The dead rose from hell, their hollow eyes filled with vengeance. Loki, once a brother to Thor, now stood as an enemy, leading the charge against the gods. Thor, armed with his mighty hammer Mjolnir, stood on the battlefield, his gaze fixed on the horizon. His golden hair whipped in the bitter wind, and his heart burned with a mixture of fury and purpose. He knew what was coming. The serpent awaited him. The ground began to tremble, a low, ominous rumble that grew with each passing moment. The sea, visible in the distance, churned violently, rising and crashing as if summoned by an unseen force. And then, it appeared. Jörmungandr, the world-serpent, emerged from the depths, its massive coils breaking the surface like mountains. The serpent was impossibly vast, its body encircling the entire earth. Its eyes glowed a venomous green, and its forked tongue flickered like lightning. With a hiss that shook the heavens, Jörmungandr turned its gaze toward Thor. Time seemed to stop as the two enemies faced each other. Thor gripped Mjolnir tightly, the hammer humming with the power of the storm. Jörmungandr loomed before him, a living force of destruction, its very presence radiating chaos. The air was thick with tension, the silence deafening. And then, they moved. Thor charged first, his war cry cutting through the noise of battle. He leapt into the air, Mjolnir glowing with electric fury, and brought it down on Jörmungandr's massive head. The serpent recoiled, its hiss turning into a roar of pain. It lashed out, its tail sweeping across the battlefield, tearing through warriors and giants alike. Thor barely dodged the strike, rolling to his feet and striking again, each blow accompanied by a thunderclap that shook the skies. But Jörmungandr was not so easily defeated. The serpent lunged, its jaws snapping inches from Thor, the venom dripping from its fangs sizzling as it hit the ground. Thor swung Mjolnir, striking Jörmungandr's scales, but the creature was relentless. It coiled its massive body, trapping Thor in its crushing grip. The god struggled, his breath forced from his lungs as the serpent tightened its hold. For a moment, it seemed the prophecy would be fulfilled. Thor, the mightiest of the gods, was on the verge of defeat. But with a roar of defiance, he summoned the full power of Mjolnir. Lightning erupted from the hammer, coursing through Jörmungandr's body. The serpent shrieked, uncoiling in pain, and Thor broke free. The battle raged on, each clash a titanic struggle of power and will. The battlefield was a sea of chaos, the ground scorched and broken, the air filled with the cries of warriors and the clash of weapons. Thor's armor was battered, his body bruised and bloodied, but he fought on, driven by the knowledge that this was his destiny. Jörmungandr, too, began to falter. Its movement slowed, its strikes less precise. Thor saw his chance. With one final surge of strength, he leapt into the air, Mjolnir raised high above his head. He brought the hammer down with all his might, striking Jörmungandr's skull. The impact was catastrophic, a blinding flash of light followed by a deafening crack. The serpent let out a final, ear-piercing roar before collapsing to the ground, its massive body coiling and writhing as its life ebbed away. Thor stood over the fallen serpent, his chest heaving, his body trembling with exhaustion. The battlefield was eerily silent, the chaos momentarily stilled. He had done it. He had fulfilled the prophecy, but the victory was short-lived. Jörmungandr, in its dying breath, unleashed its ultimate weapon. A cloud of venomous mist erupted from its body, enveloping Thor. The god staggered, coughing as the poison seeped into his lungs. He dropped to his knees, Mjolnir falling from his grasp. The venom was too much, even for the mighty Thor. As the mist cleared, Thor's lifeless body lay on the battlefield, a testament to his bravery and sacrifice. He had slain the serpent, but at the cost of his own life. His death marked a turning point in Ragnarok, a moment that would forever be remembered in the tales of the gods. But Ragnarok was not the end. From the ashes of destruction, a new world would rise, cleansed of chaos and reborn in harmony. Thor's sacrifice was not in vain. He had played his part in the cycle of death and rebirth, ensuring that life would continue, even in the face of the apocalypse. The tale of Thor and Jörmungandr is more than just a story of battle. It is a reminder of the strength required to face one's destiny, the courage to fight against impossible odds, and the inevitability of sacrifice in the pursuit of a greater good. Even in death, Thor's legacy endures, a beacon of hope and resilience in the face of darkness.